Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Pittstown, New Jersey, teaching this weekend here in Pittstown at Seven Springs Farm. Today's question comes to us from Suzanne, and we're talking about the difference between jaw releases and lateral or vertical flexion. Suzanne asks, I've heard you talk about jaw yields or jaw releases on the ground. I asked them to yield to pressure off of the rein, right, left, and through the pole before mounting. Is that the same? So I'm going to say can be, might not be, potentially isn't. Okay? So it's kind of a gray area with that. So when we talk about lateral bending and vertical bending, or lateral flexion and vertical flexion, most of the time what we see happening is we're talking to the horse's neck, saying bend your neck left and right and kind of drop your head or drop your chin, isolating the neck and head from the horse's feet. Okay? And this is something, now I'll admit I used to do quite a bit of this, and now I do very, very little of it, because essentially I want that message to go to the horse's feet. I don't want to tell the horse, just stand here and ignore it and just get noodle-necked, right? And that's something that we can see happen, and then we've got lots of flexibility in the horse's neck, but no control, no message down to the horse's feet. Now, again, talking about the difference here with the jaw yields. When I ask for a jaw yield from my horse, lateral jaw yield, an elevated release, things like that, we're specifically just talking to the mouth, okay, and maybe to the pole, asking the horse to release through the pole and soften through the jaw, accepting of the hand. We can carry this through to mobility in the feet, okay? So can we ask for lateral flexion and vertical flexion through the pole and ask for a jaw release? Yes, absolutely we can. Okay, but when I talk about the jaw releases, we're talking about those very separate. And we might be talking about an inch of movement in either direction from the horse. It's simply waiting for that horse, or asking that horse to accept and acknowledge the rein in a lateral sense. And we've done some videos on this, so if you have a chance to take a look back and see some of the videos, we did one fairly recently, a couple weeks ago, about jaw releases specifically. Very little bending in the neck. In fact, if there's any bending at all, it happens just in the head, or rather independent of the rest of the neck, because we're trying to relax and release the jaw. We need to keep in mind whenever we're doing these things that the primary function of the bit is to relax the horse. The secondary function of the bit is to direct and to educate the horse. Okay? So again, it's different, but it doesn't necessarily have to be separate from the lateral flexions and the vertical flexions. Okay? If we're doing that in a way that takes into account the relaxation through the jaw, then it's a great thing, especially if we can connect that to the feet. I don't like the horse to do a whole lot of bending of the neck without moving the feet, especially to the extent that we see a lot of horses doing nowadays, because it's become so popular to teach bending the neck and not moving the feet. And then we wonder why we have these disconnects, and we wonder why we have certain lameness issues and some balance issues, and long-term collection and connection issues and things like that. But that's kind of going beyond the scope of this question. So getting down again to kind of the meat and potatoes of Suzanne's question, the jaw yields and the jaw releases are different from lateral flexions, okay? But that doesn't mean they have to be separate. You can soften the horse's jaw, you can educate the mouth by releasing and then asking for lateral flexion if that's something that you're wanting to ask for. So they don't necessarily have to be separate, but they are two different things in the grand scheme of things. So hopefully, Suzanne, that's been helpful. Hopefully this gives some of you some things to think about in the differences between what we're asking for. And again, it all comes down to that primary, most important thing, is that the primary function of the bit is to relax the horse. Secondary function of the bit is to educate or direct the horse. So if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, Share your comments in the comments section below if you like. Share the video if you like. If you have some friends that maybe need to hear or would be interested in hearing this information, please tag them in the comments section below this video or share the video directly with them. Question of the day. Gosh, I need to get better at this question of the day. So we're talking about things that are kind of separate and can be combined. So what exercise might you have worked with your horse where you had to break pieces down into some smaller little pieces? Like maybe if you're a reiner, maybe it was a turnaround, or I don't know, if you're a dressage rider, maybe it was a half pass, something like that. What kind of exercise, movement, position have you struggled with your horse that you've had to break down into tinier pieces to help educate your horse or to help him to feel confident along the process? Share your answers for us in the comments section below this video. And please, 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 if you have any questions that you'd like to be included in these almost daily live feeds, please be sure to put those in the comments section below here or send us a message directly. You guys keep asking questions and I'll keep talking about horses. Thanks, gang.